A quiet South Carolina neighborhood exploded into chaos when two men posing as officers, backed by HOA President Patricia Lockwood, tried to detain a homeowner, only to discover he wasn't just any resident, but an FBI agent they should have never crossed. It was a peaceful Saturday morning in Greenville, South Carolina, the kind where families trimmed lawns. Kids coasted on bikes and everything felt perfectly still. Maxwell Stone, a black man, stepped out of his single-story brick house, trash bag in hand, thinking only about finishing his morning chores. He'd barely taken a few steps when he stopped cold. At the end of his driveway stood three figures, two men dressed in black tactical-style vests, and between them, Patricia Lockwood, the Homeowners Association president. Their vests had patches stitched across them that read Community Enforcement. Their stance was stiff, almost rehearsed, but Maxwell, who'd spent his career reading people, could see through the act immediately. The scuffed boots, loose straps, and the over-eager posture told him everything. Patricia's voice sliced through the morning air. "Mr. Stone, we need to talk." Maxwell calmly set the trash bag down and rested his hands on his hips. "About what?" he asked evenly. One of the men stepped forward, tall, pale, with a shaved head and mirrored sunglasses concealing his eyes. "Community enforcement," he said flatly. "You're in violation of neighborhood regulations. We're here to detain you until police arrive." The words hung heavy. "Detain me?" Maxwell repeated, voice low, almost amused. Patricia folded her arms tightly. "You've ignored repeated notices. This has gone too far. We can't have someone undermining our community rules. These men are here to ensure compliance." Maxwell's gaze shifted from her to the two so-called officers. His tone remained calm but carried an unmistakable edge. "And what exactly are the charges?" The second man, shorter, broad-shouldered, with a scruffy beard, pulled a folded paper from his vest. "Property violations, non-compliance with HOA orders, unauthorized driveway modifications, loud gatherings. The list goes on." Maxwell almost laughed. "So you think that gives you the right to walk onto my property and what, detain me?" The tall man's jaw flexed. "That's right. You can come peacefully, or we'll make it harder." For a moment, the air froze. Curtains fluttered across nearby windows. Neighbors were watching. Phones were likely recording. Maxwell's voice broke the tension, smooth and cutting. "There's no such thing as community enforcement. You're not police. You have no authority here. And right now, you're trespassing." Patricia's cheeks flushed crimson. "Don't lecture me about authority, Maxwell. We've had real complaints, and I won't let this neighborhood fall apart because of you." Maxwell didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His words carried the quiet weight of warning. "You've picked the wrong driveway today." The tall man stepped forward, boots scraping concrete. "Sir, don't make this difficult," he said rigidly. "You're being non-compliant. That gives us the right to escalate." Maxwell's mouth curved into the faintest smirk. "Escalate? You're standing on my property with no badge, no warrant, and no idea how deep in trouble you already are. You've got 30 seconds to back off before you regret this stunt," Patricia snapped, anger spiking. "You think threats make this better? You've ignored letters, warnings, fines. The HOA exists to keep this neighborhood safe and respectable. People like you—" Patricia stopped herself mid-sentence, her lips pressing tight, as if she'd nearly said something she couldn't take back. "Have you ever seen someone twist a position of power, not to protect a community, but to control it? Before we dive deeper into this story, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. We love hearing from you. And if you believe no one should ever be allowed to abuse authority for personal bias, hit that like button and subscribe to Story Arc, because true leadership is about service, not control." Maxwell caught it immediately, eyes narrowing. "People like me, huh?" he said quietly. "Careful how you finish that thought, Patricia." The bearded man shifted uncomfortably. "Look, this doesn't have to get ugly. Just come with us. We'll wait for the officers. Clear it all up. Maybe they'll go easy. Officers?" Maxwell asked, voice flat. "Funny choice of words, because the only officers I see here are you two fools in fake vests pretending to have authority." The tall one stiffened. His partner shot Patricia an uneasy glance. She doubled down, her voice rising with forced confidence. These men are authorized by the HOA board to ensure compliance. We don't have to answer to you? Maxwell chuckled softly, shaking his head. Listen to yourself. You brought two grown men in discount store tactical gear to enforce neighborhood rules. That's not how law works. The crowd was growing. Curtains twitched. Phones glinted in the morning light. Maxwell lowered his tone just enough for the imposters to hear, but loud enough for the block to catch every word. You want real authority? He said. It's earned through training, law, and accountability. And trust me, the real police are going to love hearing about this little performance. A flicker of doubt passed over the tall man's face, but he pressed forward until he stood inches from Maxwell. If you resist, we'll restrain you. Don't test me. I've dealt with cartel enforcers less reckless than you, Maxwell said calmly. Step back before this turns into something you can't walk away from. Patricia tried to rally, voice trembling with pride and anger. Why should the rest of us live by the rules while you do whatever you want? We have a system, Maxwell. We have order. If you won't respect it, maybe you don't belong here. Respect isn't forced with fake cops and threats, he replied evenly, locking eyes with her. It's earned. And this isn't about rules, Patricia. It's about control. That line carried down the street like a verdict. Neighbors exchanged glances. Heads nodded. The bearded man wiped sweat from his forehead. Maybe we should wait in the street, he muttered. No, the tall one hissed. We're not leaving. From the sidewalk, a teenager raised his phone higher. Maxwell recognized him, Victor Tyler, from a few houses down. Yo, Mr. Stone, I got you on live. Thousands are watching. The tall imposter's head snapped toward the kid. Put that down, he barked, stepping toward him. Wrong move! Maxwell shifted instantly, placing himself between the man and the teen. His voice dropped to a cold warning. You even think about touching that kid, and this ends right here. The imposter froze. This is a neighborhood matter. Patricia barked, her voice cracking. None of you should be interfering. A woman holding a baby on her porch shouted back. Neighborhood matter? Looks like harassment to me. More voices rose. Yeah, where'd you even find these guys? Another man called. You can't arrest your neighbor for cutting grass too short. Maxwell let the noise wash over them, then spoke just loud enough to cut through the clamor. Patricia, do you hear them? This isn't order, it's chaos. And you created it. You're twisting this, she shot back, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. You and your kind have always been a problem. Bending rules, ignoring the standards we built. Patricia's words cut, then she stopped, lips pressing tight as if she'd nearly crossed a line. My kind? Maxwell tilted his head, eyes narrowing. He repeated it, voice low and edged with steel. My kind? The problem, he said, is you confuse control with leadership. They're not the same. A fresh wave of murmurs rolled down the block. The bearded imposter leaned toward his partner. We should go. No, we finish this, the tall one snapped, puffing himself up, trying to appear bigger than he was. He bent forward, voice dropping into a threat. Last chance. Come with us or we use force. Maxwell almost laughed. You really want to try that in front of every witness on this street, with a dozen cameras pointed at you? Go ahead. Show the world who you really are. The tall man's eyes flicked to the glowing screens, to the faces watching, to the kids still streaming live. The weight of the street pressed in. He clenched his jaw and, instead of retreating, reached into his vest and produced a pair of cheap metal cuffs. He snapped them together. The metallic clink echoed. You're under neighborhood arrest. Gasps ripped through the crowd. Maxwell didn't flinch. His voice dropped, honed by years of interrogations and danger. If you even think about putting those cuffs on me, that's a felony. Impersonating an officer, unlawful restraint, real jail time. Justin's hand trembled. His partner Austin whispered in panic, cracking, Justin, this is insane! We'll get locked up ourselves. Patricia barked, desperate to maintain control. Do it! Show him who's in charge. That was the tipping point. Pride swallowed reason. Justin lunged, too fast, too sure. But Maxwell was faster. In one fluid motion, a sidestep, a twist, a snap, the cuffs Justin meant for Maxwell were suddenly clamped around Justin's own wrists. The crowd erupted. Someone screamed. Did you see that? a teenager shouted. He flipped it on him! Maxwell stood over Justin, composed and unshaken, his voice slicing through the uproar. You're done. Don't resist. It only gets worse from here. Patricia's face drained of color. You can't arrest him, she screeched. Maxwell's reply chilled her into silence. You're right, I can't arrest him, but I can detain him until the real law arrives. Austin stumbled backward, hands raised in surrender, terror plain on his face. I'm out. I'm done, he blurted, voice breaking. I never signed up for this. Lady, you never told us he was law enforcement, Austin panted. Maxwell's answer cut like steel, calm and absolute. That's because she didn't know. Patricia blinked, confidence crumbling, caught off guard and exposed. What? What are you talking about? She stammered. Maxwell steadied his grip on Justin with one hand and with the other reached into his back pocket. He produced a worn leather wallet and flipped it open for everyone to see. Sunlight caught a gold badge as dozens of phone cameras trained on him. I'm Special Agent Maxwell Stone, he announced, voice carrying over the block. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Those words landed harder than any shove. Neighbors gasped. Silence fell, a silence that meant everything had shifted. The man they'd dismissed as just another homeowner had just revealed himself as a federal agent. Maxwell's eyes never left Patricia. His voice was calm but unyielding. You came onto my property with imposters. You thought intimidation would give you control, but you didn't do your homework. You had no idea who you were dealing with. Patricia opened her mouth to fire back, but before she could, the rising wail of real sirens rolled down the block. Blue and red lights sliced through the stunned silence. A patrol car screeched to a stop. Two uniformed officers stepped out fast, hands hovering near their holsters, eyes sweeping the scene. A man cuffed on the driveway, another ripping off a vest, and a crowd of neighbors filming every second. The tension was knife-sharp. Maxwell didn't move hastily. He stood tall, keeping his hold on Justin's cuffed wrists, then raised his other hand slowly, opening his leather wallet with calm precision. The gold badge flashed in the sunlight, bright and undeniable. Officers, he said, voice steady, deep, commanding, the kind of tone that carried authority without ever needing to shout. Special Agent Maxwell Stone, FBI. The block went dead silent. Even the whispers died. The power in his voice held the street still. He let the moment breathe before continuing, each word deliberate. The man in my custody attempted to impersonate law enforcement. He trespassed on my property, tried to place me under a fake arrest, and assaulted me in front of dozens of witnesses. He gestured slightly toward the phones lifted high on every porch and sidewalk. Every second of it was recorded. You'll have no shortage of evidence. The officers exchanged a glance and nodded. Respect flashed in their eyes. Justin was lifted to his feet, still cuffed, but now the cuffs were real. Austin tore off his vest and threw it to the ground like it was burning his hands. I'm out. I'll cooperate, he muttered, voice shaking. Then all eyes turned to Patricia. The lead officer stepped forward, tone cool but cutting. Ma'am, did you authorize these men to act as law enforcement? Patricia's composure cracked. I was only trying to keep order, she stammered. Order? Maxwell interjected, his voice slicing through her words. You staged a fake arrest to intimidate your own neighbor. That's not order. The crowd roared in agreement. Someone shouted, We all saw it, Patricia! Another voice echoed, You set this up! Patricia's face twisted with panic. You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president, she shrieked. The lead officer's reply was merciless. That title doesn't put you above the law. You're coming with us. And just like that, Patricia Lockwood, the self-proclaimed queen of the neighborhood, was led away under flashing red and blue lights. Neighbors who once feared her now turned their backs, shaking their heads as the sirens faded. Her reign had ended in public disgrace, and the entire block had witnessed it. Have you ever seen someone abuse their power only to watch it collapse before everyone's eyes? And if you believe justice always finds those who misuse authority, hit that like button and subscribe to the Final Boundary Tales, because power built on fear always crumbles.